What if everything you are today, your deepest fears, sudden talents, and even that unexpected love that changed your life, wasn't just random luck or fate? What if your story started long before you were born? Imagine this. Every detail of your life is part of something much older than you. Not destiny, not chance, but something far more profound: reincarnation. You might carry memories from past lives hidden deep within your soul. And whether you're a skeptic or already believe in past lives, here's the truth. Even your doubt may be a memory trying to return. This idea isn't new. It's ancient, older than the civilizations we read about in history books. Reincarnation suggests that our journey doesn't begin at birth, nor does it end with death. Life is a continuous cycle, one filled with lessons, growth, and transformation across many lifetimes. Think about those rare people who seem wise beyond their years, or children who show extraordinary talent without any training. These aren't just quirks of nature, they're clues that our existence isn't as simple as it seems. But if that's true, why don't we remember our past lives? Many spiritual traditions suggest it's because we need to start fresh. Carrying all the pain, loss, and trauma from previous existences would be unbearable. So we forget, but not completely. Some pieces slip through the veil. Moments that feel oddly familiar, emotions that come out of nowhere, places that feel like home the first time you visit. These are the signs, and if you've ever felt them, your soul might be trying to tell you something. Let's explore 9 powerful signs that prove you have lived other lives, signs that might be hiding in your everyday experiences right now. 1. Intense and frequent déjà vu, a glimpse into the past. You've experienced it. That strange feeling where you're somewhere completely new, yet everything feels deeply familiar. The smell in the air, the sound of voices, the way light hits the walls, it's like time folded in on itself. This is déjà vu, and it's more than just a brain glitch. For centuries, scientists tried to explain it as a momentary error in how the brain processes information. But those who experience intense, emotional déjà vu know it's something deeper, something that touches the soul. In many spiritual traditions, déjà vu is seen as a crack in the wall between your current life and a past one. For a brief moment, a memory slips through, a flash of who you used to be. Why else would your heart race when walking down a street you've never seen? Why would a conversation feel like it's happening again, word for word? These moments are not random. They are echoes from another lifetime. One woman once visited an ancient village she had never been to before, yet she knew exactly where each alley led. She stood in front of a square and burst into tears, overwhelmed by a longing she couldn't explain. Later, she discovered that the square had once been the center of life in that town, complete with a fountain she described in perfect detail, despite it no longer existing. Her déjà vu was proof her soul remembered what her mind had forgotten. So next time you feel like you've already seen or lived something brand new, pay attention. Your soul could be reminding you of who you really are. 2. Instant connections, meeting souls you've known before. Some relationships take time to build. Others form instantly, so deep and immediate, it feels like you've always known that person. There's no awkwardness, no small talk, just comfort, recognition, as if the two of you are picking up a conversation that never truly ended. These instant connections are some of the strongest signs that you've lived other lives. People leave imprints on our souls, friends, lovers, mentors, even rivals. When we meet them again, even in different bodies and places, something inside us knows. The laughter flows easily. Conversations feel like coming home. Even silence feels peaceful, not forced. I once watched 2 strangers meet and instantly connect like old friends. They finished each other's sentences, predicted reactions, and shared memories of situations they'd never lived together, or so they thought. But deep down, they both felt it. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a reunion. The same happens with places. Some cities, streets, or landscapes embrace you the moment you arrive. You don't know why, but everything feels right. That's your soul recognizing a place it once called home. Whether it was 1 life ago or 10, the essence remembers. And when these moments happen, they remind us that life is made not only of beginnings, but of continuities. 3. Natural wisdom and talent, skills you never learned, but always knew. Have you ever met someone who seems to be born with a gift? A child who picks up a musical instrument and plays like a master. An artist who creates breathtaking work without formal training. Or someone who gives advice that sounds like it came from decades of experience, yet they're barely out of school. This kind of natural wisdom and talent is a sign that you've lived before. When we go through many lifetimes, we bring with us fragments of what we've learned. That's why some skills feel like they come from nowhere, because they do. From past lives, not this one. My sister Letitia began drawing at age 8 without lessons, without guidance, and created stunning art with precision and emotion. When asked where she learned, she simply said she felt how it should be done. That's how it often works. In a past life, maybe she was an artist, spending years mastering her craft. Today, her body is new, but her soul remembers. It's not limited to art or music either. Sometimes it's wisdom about life itself. Children who speak with clarity and insight far beyond their years are showing signs of past life learning. If something in you feels too natural, pay attention. It may not be new. It may be your soul revealing what it has always known. 4. Spontaneous memories and vivid dreams, echoes from another life. Sometimes memories appear out of nowhere. They don't fit into this life, yet they feel real, powerful, vivid, and strangely familiar. Or you wake up from a dream so intense, so full of detail, that you can still feel the texture of the clothes you wore, the language you spoke, the people you knew. These are past life memories, surfacing when your mind relaxes, especially during sleep. One follower once told me about recurring dreams of living in an ancient village. At first, she thought it was just imagination, but the details matched historical records she had never studied. Her dreams showed her symbols, architecture, and even clothing from a time she had never learned about consciously. This goes beyond creative dreaming. It's the soul trying to reach the surface. And it doesn't always happen while sleeping. During quiet moments, certain images may pop into your mind, scenes, faces, emotions that feel like they belong to someone else. These are memories escaping from the unconscious, revealing themselves when you're ready to receive them. Your soul keeps everything, and sometimes it wants you to remember. 5. Unexplained fears and phobias, trauma from other lives. There's a moment that happens to many people, something small, almost insignificant on the surface, that triggers an overwhelming wave of fear. It could be standing near a window too high up, or stepping into a pool for the first time in years. The mind doesn't register danger, but the body does. The heart races, the breath shortens, and suddenly there's no logic left, just raw, primal fear. These reactions don't always come from this life. Some fears are so deeply rooted, they feel like instinct rather than learned behavior. For example, someone might have an intense fear of water despite never having had a bad experience in it. No drowning, no near misses, no trauma they can recall. And yet, just being near deep water brings panic. It's not irrational, it's residual. In past life regression therapy, countless people have uncovered memories of drowning, of being trapped underwater, or even executed by drowning centuries ago. These memories aren't always real in the way we think of history. They're symbolic, emotional imprints carried forward. But the fear they generate is very real. The same goes for other phobias. Claustrophobia may trace back to someone buried alive, locked in a dungeon, or suffocating under rubble during an earthquake. Fear of fire may be a memory of burning at the stake or fleeing a village engulfed in flames. These experiences leave behind more than just mental scars. They imprint on the soul. Our bodies remember what our minds forget. That's why healing has to go deeper than just thinking positively or trying to talk ourselves out of fear. We have to uncover the root cause, not just manage the symptoms. Sometimes these fears appear in strange ways, like avoiding certain places without knowing why, or feeling discomfort around specific people who remind us of someone from long ago. You might find yourself avoiding elevators, airplanes, or even certain foods. These choices often seem random, but they're usually tied to something deeper, an echo from another lifetime. When we begin to explore these fears instead of suppressing them, we open the door to healing. This isn't about blaming the past, it's about understanding it so we can move forward. Our souls carry these memories not to haunt us, but to protect us. They're trying to keep us safe based on what they once endured. But here's the thing, when we shine light on those old wounds, they begin to lose their power. When we acknowledge the pain instead of pushing it away, we give our soul permission to release it. That's when healing begins, not through denial, but through awareness. So if you have a fear that makes no sense in this life, consider that it might make perfect sense in another. Instead of fighting it, try listening to it. Ask yourself what lesson it's trying to teach you now. What part of you still feels unsafe? what needs to be seen, felt, and finally let go. Once you start looking at your fears as messages rather than problems, everything changes. You stop running from yourself and start reconnecting with your true nature. And in doing so, you allow the soul to heal across lifetimes. 6. Deep fascination with ancient cultures, a connection beyond time. Have you ever walked into a museum and felt like you were coming home, or stood in front of ancient ruins and felt tears well up without knowing why? Perhaps you've read a book set in medieval times and found yourself dreaming vividly about castles, knights, and candlelit halls. Or maybe you've watched a film about ancient Egypt and felt something stir inside, a longing, a recognition, a sense of belonging. This kind of fascination isn't just curiosity, it's connection, it's memory, soul memory. People often brush off these feelings as romanticism or overactive imagination. But if you felt it, you know it's deeper than that. There's a pull, a resonance, a familiarity that defies explanation. You might feel drawn to a particular language, symbol, clothing style, or even architecture from a time long gone. For some, it's ancient Japan, the elegance of kimono, the quiet dignity of tea ceremonies, the beauty of calligraphy. For others, it's the grandeur of Rome, the mystery of Greece, or the mysticism of India. Some feel inexplicably drawn to Celtic lands, Native American traditions, or the desert sands of Egypt. It's not just liking the aesthetics, it's feeling like you belong there, like you lived that life once. And maybe you did. Past life memories often surface as vague impressions, fragments of emotion, or even déjà vu. You walk into a place you've never been before and instantly know your way around. You hear a word in a foreign tongue and understand it instinctively. You dream of places you've never seen, yet feel like you've returned. Many spiritual teachers believe that the soul doesn't just live one life, it lives many. Each lifetime adds to the soul's journey, shaping its lessons, expanding its awareness. So if you feel a strong bond with a culture or era, it may be because you lived it before. Some people discover these connections through dreams, meditation, or spontaneous memories. Others find them in art, music, or literature that speaks to them on a level they can't explain. Sometimes the connection reveals itself in how you dress, the names you choose for your children, or the way you decorate your home. One woman described walking through a temple in Kyoto and breaking down in tears, overwhelmed by a sense of peace and belonging. She had never been to Japan before, yet she felt like she was returning to her roots. Later, in a past life reading, she discovered she had lived there centuries ago as a monk who spent his life in prayer and reflection. Another man couldn't explain his obsession with Viking lore. He collected books, visited historical sites, and even taught himself Old Norse. In a trance state, he recalled living as a warrior sailing across icy seas, protecting his people from invaders. These stories are more common than most people realize. The soul remembers what the mind forgets, and when it finds echoes of past lives in symbols, languages, or cultures, it stirs with recognition. So if you feel this pull towards something ancient, don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Explore it. Let it guide you. You might be tapping into a memory far older than this lifetime. Because sometimes the things we love most aren't just interests, they're invitations to remember who we really are. 7. Feeling like an old soul, the weight of many lives. You've probably heard the term old soul used casually, often to describe someone wise beyond their years, thoughtful, or simply different from the crowd. But being an old soul is more than just personality traits or preferences. It's a way of being. It's carrying the weight of many lives within you, whether you consciously remember them or not. Old souls often feel out of sync with the world around them. They don't chase trends or get caught up in superficial drama. They seek meaning in everything. Their conversations run deeper. Their emotions run stronger. They care more, feel more, and sometimes suffer more because of it. They don't need constant stimulation. They find joy in silence, solitude, and simple moments. They appreciate art, nature, and philosophy in a way that seems almost nostalgic, like they've seen it all before. And maybe they have. Old souls tend to carry wisdom that wasn't taught in school or learned from books. It's intuitive, innate. They seem to understand human nature in a way that's hard to explain. They see patterns, cycles, and truths that others overlook. They've experienced loss, joy, betrayal, love, war, peace, poverty, and abundance, not just in this life, but across many. That's why they often feel like they've already lived 1,000 lives. Because in many ways they have. They don't get excited by material success. They've seen it come and go before. They value depth over distraction, truth over popularity, peace over power. They're often misunderstood, labeled as too serious or not fun, but that's only because they operate on a different frequency. Their energy is calm, grounded, and timeless. They speak less, listen more. They observe, reflect, and then act. They don't rush through life. They take their time because they know there's always another chance, another lifetime to finish what's left undone. This doesn't mean they're perfect. Far from it. Old souls struggle too. They wrestle with doubt, loneliness, and existential questions. They feel the weight of responsibility not just for themselves, but for the world. They want to make a difference, to leave something meaningful behind. But they also know that life isn't just about achievement. It's about presence, about showing up fully, authentically, and with compassion. Being an old soul means seeing beyond the surface. It means recognizing that everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about. It means holding space for others, even when they don't ask for it. It means understanding that joy and sorrow are two sides of the same coin, that love and loss are intertwined, that life is cyclical, and every ending holds the seed of a new beginning. If you feel like an old soul, embrace it. Don't apologize for it. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're simply further along the path, carrying the lessons, the scars, and the wisdom of many lives. And in this lifetime, you have the chance to use that wisdom to heal, to teach, to inspire, and to evolve. 8. Recurring life patterns, lessons that refuse to be forgotten. Have you noticed that the same kinds of challenges keep showing up in your life? Not exactly the same situation, but similar themes: trust issues, abandonment, financial struggles, self-sabotage, or difficulty maintaining healthy relationships. At first, you might chalk it up to coincidence. But after a while, it starts to feel like fate or worse, punishment. You wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Or what am I doing wrong? But what if it's not about what you're doing wrong, but what you're refusing to learn? Life patterns are not random. They are echoes of unresolved issues from past lives. The soul doesn't forget. It carries unfinished business forward, presenting it again and again until we finally face it, understand it, and integrate the lesson. For example, someone who repeatedly gets cheated on or betrayed may have a deep wound around trust from a previous lifetime. Maybe they were lied to, manipulated, or even framed for something they didn't do. Until they address that original wound, until they forgive themselves or others, the pattern will continue. Or consider someone who keeps losing money no matter how hard they work. They could stem from a past life where they hoarded resources, stole, or misused wealth. The soul may be balancing karma or teaching the person to release scarcity mindset and develop a healthier relationship with abundance. Patterns show up in all areas of life: career, relationships, health, creativity. They repeat not to torment us, but to guide us. They are the soul's way of saying, here's something you still need to understand. Think of it like a teacher giving you the same lesson until you pass the test. If you fail the first time, you retake the exam. If you still don't get it, you review the material again. Eventually, with enough effort and insight, you master the lesson and move on. The key is to recognize the pattern. Once you become aware of it, you gain power over it. You stop reacting unconsciously and start responding intentionally. Let's say you keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners. At first glance, it seems like bad luck. But if you look closer, you might see that you grew up in a home where love was conditional or withheld. Maybe in a past life, you were abandoned or rejected. Your soul is replaying that dynamic to help you heal it. By identifying the root cause, you can break free. You can choose differently. You can rewrite the story. Repetition is not failure, it's opportunity. Every time the pattern shows up, it gives you another chance to grow, to change, to evolve. So instead of resisting the cycle, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Look at the people involved, the situations you keep finding yourself in, the emotions that arise. What do they have in common? What theme keeps emerging? Once you answer that, you'll be on the path to transformation. And when you finally integrate the lesson, the repetition will stop. Not because you were punished, but because you learned. That's how the soul works. It doesn't give up on us. It keeps offering us chances until we're ready to rise. 9. a constant search for meaning, the soul's call for continuity. There's a restlessness that comes with having lived many lives. It's not just dissatisfaction, it's a hunger for something deeper, something lasting. You achieve goals, check off milestones, build careers, relationships and homes, but somewhere inside there's still a voice asking, is this all there is? You feel like there should be more, like you're meant for something bigger, and maybe you are. This inner searching isn't a flaw. It's a sign that your soul remembers more than your current life can contain. It's a whisper from the eternal part of you that knows it has existed before and will exist again. It's calling you to reconnect with your purpose, not just in this life, but across lifetimes. People with this kind of longing often turn to spirituality, philosophy or metaphysics. They study ancient texts, meditate, journal or seek guidance from teachers and healers. They travel to sacred places, hoping to feel something familiar, something that resonates with the deepest parts of them. But the search isn't always external. Sometimes it's internal, a desire to understand oneself more fully, to know why certain things feel important, why certain people feel like home, why certain experiences feel like déjà vu. The soul doesn't crave distraction. It craves depth. It wants to remember where it came from and where it's going. It seeks continuity, not just between past and present, but between this life and the next. That's why many old souls are drawn to concepts like reincarnation, karma, and soul contracts. These ideas offer structure to the intuition. They've always felt that life isn't random and that we're not here by accident. This kind of seeker isn't content with surface-level answers. They want to know the why behind everything, why they feel this way, why they chose certain paths, why they keep meeting the same challenges, why they feel connected to certain people or places. It's not just intellectual curiosity, it's spiritual yearning, a need to align with something greater than the temporary circumstances of this life. Some people mistake this search for unhappiness. They tell you to be grateful for what you have, to stop questioning, to settle down. But gratitude and growth aren't opposites. In fact, the most grateful people are often the ones who understand that life is a journey, not a destination. Your soul is guiding you toward expansion, not escape, toward awakening, not avoidance, toward remembering who you truly are beneath the roles you play in this lifetime. So if you feel restless, if you're constantly seeking, questioning, exploring, don't ignore it. Follow it, trust it. It's the soul's way of reminding you that you're more than this body, this job, this relationship, this timeline. You are eternal, and this life is just one chapter in a much longer story. And the more you listen to that inner call, the more clearly you'll remember the plot. Bonus sign: energetic sensitivity, the mark of a deeply experienced soul. Some people feel everything: emotions, energy, moods with incredible intensity. They absorb others' feelings, get overwhelmed in crowds, and are often turned to for advice and comfort. This heightened sensitivity is not weakness, it's a gift. Souls that have lived many lives naturally become more open and receptive. They pick up on frequencies others miss. But this sensitivity also needs care. Without boundaries, it becomes overwhelming. Learning to protect your energy through meditation, nature, and spiritual practices is essential. Sensitivity is a bridge, not a prison, and when nurtured, it becomes a powerful channel for healing yourself and others. Final thoughts: your life isn't random, it's a continuation. Looking at these signs isn't about getting stuck in the past, it's about illuminating the present. Recognizing that your life is a continuation of many journeys helps you make sense of your fears, talents, and relationships. Knowing you've lived other lives isn't fantasy, it's awareness, and awareness is the first step to awakening. Which of these signs have appeared in your life? What story is your soul trying to tell you? Share your experience, you might help someone else recognize their own journey.